Okay? Now,
Okay, I will call the Audit, Budget, and Expenditure Committee meeting to order on April 20th at 12:08. Call the meeting, oh, I already called the meeting to order. That's on the agenda, sorry. Oh, goodness, this is not starting off good. Okay. The first item is to accept 2021 quarter one donations and refunds and reimbursements. So the donations is a total of $1,689.87, and refunds and reimbursements are a total of $21,274.64. So we'll do that in the main meeting, correct?
Correct.
yes.
And then the next, since I'm the only one on the committee, I'm going to say there's no discussion. We'll just keep moving along. Whenever people donate or give us refunds, that's always a good thing. So the next one is to appropriate funds for summer reading. We're going to need to appropriate $1,000 from the Rotary Club for summer reading materials, and so we'll do that in the main meeting. And the final item is to appropriate funds and approve payment for property taxes. So we're going to need to do that in the main meeting as well. Appropriate $3,175.68 that are in unappropriated currently to property tax expense, pay for property tax for Waller Street and Gallia Street, which are some of our new properties that we acquired. Is that all I need to go over? Dylan, Paige?
Yes.
I think so. I will comment on the property taxes. So I've completed the property tax exemption applications for these properties, but in order for those applications to move forward, we have to pay the taxes for the year 2020. And then supposedly, from talking to the Department of Taxation, the state could potentially reimburse us, and I will just have to request that. The lady that I've been speaking to with the Department of Tax Equalization said it could be reimbursed or it could not be reimbursed. So once this is paid, they can go ahead and process our application thoroughly.
Okay. Well, if nothing else, I will adjourn the meeting at 12:10.
Thank you, Kara.
Uh-huh.
All right. Next is Property and Extension Committee meeting. Who's chairing that?
That's Ruth
Ruth
Ann.
Ann. Okay.
I will call the Property and Extension Committee meeting to order at 12:12 on April 20th. The first item is the statement of qualifications. I'm going to refer this to Paige to understand how many engineers have responded.
Okay, we had, that ad was in two papers. It was in the Daily Times and it was in the Chillicothe Gazette. And it ran once, but we had it for 2 weeks and then it was posted elsewhere. We had some interest from, I would call it, the entities that gather legal ads and send them out to other places, other companies, excuse me, but we only had 2 that actually submitted their qualifications. One was, TSHD Architects, Dave Stone, and the other one was Sands Decker, which was Glenn Decker, is a Columbus firm that worked with us and Randy on the South Webster branch repair. So those were the only 2. Evidently, they don't, a lot of the engineers right now are not really interested in small jobs. I mean, we didn't put what job it was, but in talking to some of these people, they're really only interested in very large scale jobs at this time. So We did get two, and if we need to, we can run it again. If we see we need, for some reason, if those would not work or would not be available, we can always run that ad again. And,
Paige, I have a question about that.
yes,
Were both of those firms qualified for the project that we were, considering?
well, what we do, once a year, we send out the ad that just any, it can be any professional, but this one we focused on civil and structural engineers. But we did not have a project attached to it because in this situation, you don't. Because
Okay.
if you have a project attached to it, then it's a different situation. This one is, you have a file, basically you have a file of resumes of professionals that if you have a job that comes up down the road and the job is going to, any payment you would make to that professional, that would be under $50,000, not the total of the job, but the total of the expense you would pay to the professional. If it's under $50,000, then you can pull from this file and not have to bid out. Does that make sense?
Okay, I gotcha.
Okay.
Thank you for the reminder.
Okay.
I couldn't remember how it was working exactly.
Right, so say we found out that, a job that comes up we have and it's determined that, that the job is not gonna be, say, itself is $50,000 and we're only gonna pay $5,000 to a professional. Well, we wouldn't have to bid it out. We could just look through our file and pick one of those individuals,
Okay.
okay?
So any other further discussion, or? Are you there, Paige?
Yes. Did anyone, did you wanna move on to the demolition of the house?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So, the house, back here on Waller Street, that yellow house right behind the library, we are beginning to have a lot of issues, with squatters. And a couple blocks away, there was a house that burned up, probably due to squatters. We didn't want that to happen to us, so we've pretty much, nailed it up and boarded it up, but we do need to get it demolished. So we tried to find at least 3 different companies that would give us an estimate. We found 2, but Ruth Ann and I talked, and Tammy Isaacs, since Ruth Ann is over the property and extension, and there's just, looking through these, there are some real questions about why there is such a difference in the prices. And, it appears that the Stoneworks construction, is much lower, but and then Mullins is much higher. So we really need to go back and basically come up with an actual list to give them, instead of just talking with them, give them a list of what needs to be done and our expectations. And also, we did find another company today, and so we just found them today, so we are contacting them today. So my request is that until we can get that third estimate, that we table this until next meeting.
I agree.
That sounds good.
All right. Any discussion? Okay, then Paige will go to the memorandum of understanding,
Okay.
if you would take over for that.
Okay. This is just the memorandum of understanding between Stockmeister and the library to repair the stonework. Hopefully that'll start in the next month or so. So, you know, with this weather being cold like this, it's got to be warmer. So they had hoped to start this month, but I don't think they're going to be able to with the weather. So hopefully next month. But we do need to go ahead and this has been approved. You can see on the last page, it was written and approved by the Scioto County Prosecutor's Office. So basically, I did request a 2-year warranty, and they verbally agreed to that, and it is in here. Because I'm afraid I just don't want it repaired, and then within I just see within one year and 1 day, it all falls off again. So they did agree to 2 years, which is very good. But basically, the board just needs to approve this MOU, and then you all can, then we'll have, you can all choose to either have me sign it on behalf of the library, or Tammy, as the board president, can sign it.
And we need to do that in the regular meeting, right?
Yes, in the regular meeting, correct.
Okay, then is there any discussion, or are we free to adjourn the Property and Extension Committee?
Let's adjourn.
All right, we are adjourned the Property and Extension at 12:20 on April 20th.
Right. Looks like Personnel Committee's next.
I think that's me, right?
Kara, yes.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep, okay. I'll call the Personnel Committee meeting to order at 12:20. The first item is to ratify the hiring of Michaela Osborne, effective 4/12/21 at $12.18 an hour, replacing Tim Mosley. Amy Newland, also effective 4/12 at $12.18, replacing Rachel Hoopel. And Derek Packett, effective 4/26 at 10:59, replacing Casey Beach. So I'll do that in the regular meeting. The next item is the dental insurance renewal, which our contract is from July 1 of 21 to 6/30/22, and there is no increase. Is that correct?
Yes, no increase.
So no changes, we just need to approve the contract, correct?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, does anyone have any discussion?
Nope.
Okay, I'll adjourn at 12:20 then. We'll say 12:21.
Okay.
Yeah, make that sound a little better.
Yeah. It actually just slipped on me, so 12:21.
Next up, Policy Committee.
Okay, the chair is Judge Schisler. He's not here, and then Charles is here. But Ralph, if you'd just like to call the meeting to order, and then I can talk about it. It's the borrowing policy of the children's leap paths. If you want to call the meeting to order.
Okay. Well, I called the meeting to order at, 12:23. And if you would, Ms. Page,
All right.
take it from there.
Okay, last year we were given some CARES Act funds, and one of the things that the library purchased were children's leap pads, which have educational games on them, and these are to circulate. Through this pandemic, a lot of kids have not been coming into the library, and when they would come in, they would typically use a lot of our educational computers we have in all the children's departments, and those games are so good to teach them math and history and things like that. And we just said the children are getting behind because they're not able to access those. And we're starting to see a few families come back, but we're still not seeing a large amount of families come back. So we decided that all locations, we purchase leap pads They're just like, the iPads, but they're more for children, and they're loaded with educational games. But we needed to make the circulation borrowing rules. Basically, that is, it can be on adult patron cards only, and limit of 1 leap pad per adult card. It can have a 21-day circulation, 2 renewals. If it's lost, $100. That's what it cost. If it's not returned on time, $1 overdue fine per day, and there are no holds on these. So that's what we're putting forth. We did look at other libraries and who already are doing this, and that's how we came up with these rules.
That seems very reasonable.
Yeah,
How many did we get, Paige?
but, okay.
I think, what was it, Dylan?
I think it was 10.
10? Yeah, I think we're doing, like maybe
I think we got one for each
3
branch.
each branch and maybe 2 or 3 for here. Yeah. So we wanted to get this moving quicker, but there was a backlog on some of these because all these libraries got care funds about the same time, so everybody ordered all this at the same time.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. So that was it. That was all we had on that one then.
Yes, you can adjourn it now if you'd like.
Okay, then I adjourn our meeting at 12:25 p.m.
Sounds good. All right, is that all of our extracurricular committees?
Yes, we're ready to go to the main meeting.
We are ready to roll then. Okay. I call the Portsmouth Public Library board meeting to order April 20th, 2021 at 12:25 p.m. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Morton,
Here.
Mrs. Tiemann,
Here.
Mr. Clay,
Here.
Mr. Sammons, Miss Brush,
Here.
Mr. Schischler, Dr. Kemp.
Okay, and moving on the agenda, the approval of the minutes. This is the Personnel Committee meeting and the regular meeting of March 16th, 2021. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So
I
moved.
made that we approve those minutes.
All right, so I got Kara and Ralph as first and second. Any discussion?
Mhm.
All in favor? Signify by saying aye.
All right.
Any
Aye.
opposed, same sign.
Mhm.
All right, motion carried. Moving to the approval of the financial reports.
I
Item
make a
3.
motion to approve it.
Thank you, Ruth Ann. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, Kara.
Thank you, Kara. That is for the March 2021 financial reports. Please call the roll.
Let's see here. Mrs. Morton,
Yes.
Mrs. Tiemann,
Yes.
Miss Brush,
Yes.
Mr. Clay.
Yes.
All right, and we need to pay the bills. This is for March 2021 and the total of $422,453.46. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Kara.
Thank you, Kara.
Second, Ralph.
Ralph, thank you for the second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Mrs. Morton,
Yes.
Mrs. Tiemann,
Yes.
Miss Brush,
Yes.
Mr. Clay.
Yes.
All right, the budget audit and expenditures. Ryan's not with us. Kara, will you step in for him, please?
Sure. The first item, I'd like to make a motion to accept 2021 quarter one donations in the amount of $1,689.87 and refunds and reimbursements in the amount of $21,274.64.
Thank you, Kara. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Ruth Ann.
Thank you, Ruth Ann. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Mrs. Morton,
Yes.
Mrs. Teeman,
Yes.
Miss Brush,
Yes.
Mr. Clay.
Yes.
The next item, I'd like to make a motion to appropriate donations in the amount of $1,000 from the Rotary Club of Portsmouth to library materials, account 101-005-4900 for the summer reading program.
Thank you, Kara, for that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second, Ralph.
Thank you, Ralph. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Morton,
Yes.
Mrs. Teeman,
Yes.
Miss Brush,
Yes.
Mr. Clay.
Yes.
The next item, I have two motions. The first motion is to appropriate $3,175.68 in unappropriated funds, moving that to property tax expense to pay for taxes for the board-owned properties on Waller Street and Gallia Street.
Okay, Kara, thank you for that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ruth Ann. Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Mrs. Morton,
Yes.
Mrs. Teeman,
Yes.
Miss Brush,
Yes.
Mr. Clay.
Yes.
The next item, I would like to make a motion to authorize and direct the fiscal officer to pay the Sauter County Treasurer for taxes on the properties on Waller and Gallia Street.
Thank you, Kara. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ruth Ann. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Mrs. Morton,
Yes.
Mrs. Teeman,
Yes.
Miss Brush,
Yes.
Mr. Clay.
Yes.
All
That's
right.
all I have for now.
Thank you, Kara. Moving on to property and extension, Ruth Ann.
All right. In your packet, you have the statement of qualifications, which was informational only, not needing a motion. The demolition of the house, we are going to obtain a third bid, so we will wait for that to happen at the next meeting. And the third item was the Southwestern Memorandum of Understanding. And Paige, you would like a motion to accept that from the commissioners?
The prosecutor's office and, okay,
Okay, I make a motion that we accept the Memorandum of Understanding.
Okay. Ruth Ann moved the MOU be accepted. Do I have a second?
Oh, I'll second, Ralph. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ralph.
Sure.
Any further discussion on the MOU? Call the roll.
Mrs. Morton,
Yes.
Mrs. Teeman,
Yes.
Miss Brush,
Yes.
Mr. Clay.
Yes.
Paige, do we need to make motion for the tabling of items regarding demolition, or is it just, is verbal enough?
I think you just, do you have to make a motion? I'm not sure. I think in the past, we've done both in the past.
When I worked for the
think.
village, we always had them make a
Make
motion.
a motion? Well,
But,
then let's have them make a
okay,
motion.
let's do that.
Okay.
just to cover ourselves.
Okay.
Sure. So on the demolition of the house that we are tabling until we receive a third bid, I would ask for a motion for that.
So moved.
Thank you, Ruth Ann. And a second?
I'll second, Kara.
Thank you, Kara. And call the roll, please.
Mrs. Morton,
Yes.
Mrs. Teeman,
Yes.
Miss Brush,
Yes.
Mr. Clay.
Yes.
Great. All right, moving on to personnel. Kara, that is you again.
Okay, I would like to make a motion that we ratify the hiring of Michaela Osborne, effective 4/12 at 12/18, replacing Tim Mosley. Amy Newland, effective 4/12 at 12/18, replacing Rachel Hoople. And Derek Tackett, effective 4/26. I just noticed that says 12 instead
Yeah.
of 21 on my,
Yeah, I'll change it to 21.
it's just on that motion sheet.
Yeah,
So just make sure it says 21 on the
Yep.
actual, at 10:59, replacing Casey Beach.
Thank you, Kara. Do I have a second?
Ralph, second on
All right, I think Ruth Ann beat you in, Ralph.
it. Okay.
I have a motion.
Everybody, sorry I was late. This is Charles.
Hi, Charles. Glad you joined us.
Hey, Charles.
I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Mrs. Morton,
Yes.
Mrs. Teeman,
Yes.
Miss Brush,
Yes.
Mr. Clay.
Yes.
Now, Dr. Kemp, did you hear that whole conversation, or do you want to abstain on this vote?
I'll abstain at this point. Thank you.
All right. Dental
The
insurance.
the next item that our committee discussed was our dental insurance renewal with Superior Dental Care. So I would like to make a motion that we approve the renewal of that contract effective July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022 with no increase in premium.
Thank you, Kara. Do I have a second? Anybody want a second?
I'll second.
I heard Charles. I'm not sure who else was. All right, Charles,
Yeah.
I got you as the second. Any other discussion? This is a pretty good deal. Dental insurance with no increase in premiums. If no further discussion, please call the roll.
Mrs. Morton,
Yes.
Mrs. Teeman,
Yes.
Miss Brush,
Yes.
Mr. Clay,
Yes.
Dr. Kemp.
Yes.
All right, we have nothing to report on materials and equipment today. We're going to policy. Mr. Schischler's not with us. Who will be taking his place?
That was Ralph, Mr. Clay?
Ralph?
Yeah. And because I don't have that in front of me,
I do, Ralph. You want me to use it?
Yeah, please, if you would.
So, with the CARES Act funds, the library system purchased children's leaf pads with educational games to circulate. The devices are cataloged and ready to be circulated. They outline some of the rules that we are proposing for these leaf pad use. And so I don't have the other sheet, but make a proposal that we accept this policy as written.
Thank you, Charles. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, Ralph.
Thank you, Ralph.
Sure. Thanks, Charles.
Any other discussion?
No problem.
And call the roll.
Mrs. Morton,
Yes.
Mrs. Teeman,
Yes.
Miss Brush,
Yes.
Mr. Clay,
Yes.
Dr. Kemp.
Yes.
All right, report of the director, Paige.
Just a couple of things real briefly. The library is waiting, or all libraries in Ohio, a lot of them are waiting on the State of Ohio COVID Response Committee to release guidelines requested by the Ohio Library Council for public libraries in Ohio to do, the meeting rooms, quarantining, and programming. So we are waiting on that. However, most libraries are currently reopening back to their full hours. I'm going to recommend, but we don't have to do anything this month about it, but I'm recommending that we return to full hours on Monday, June 7th, which also is the same day that we start summer reading.
Okay.
Okay? But I will have more information about that next month. The next one, the quarantining materials, that has changed, and the CDC has actually approved this. So it, last year, the government had a report done that was called the Realm Report, and it determined that all library materials needed to be quarantined for 7 days. Well, now the CDC ran their own study and determined that they only need to be quarantined 72 hours. So the Ohio Library Council is encouraging all libraries to follow that new guideline. So as of next Monday, the library system is going to be quarantining materials for 72 hours instead of 7 days, since that is approved by the CDC.
Okay.
But that is all I have on that.
Great.
Okay, any questions?
No, but I would be interested, I'm assuming we'll get a copy of your reopening plan once that does.
Yes, it's going to come before you, and some things have got to go, I'm gonna have to go before the health department. So
Sure.
that's what I am waiting, a lot of us are waiting to see what, you know, we think that if the cases keep going down, that, like in West Virginia, this week, the governor released all meeting rooms. If it's under 1,000, no social distancing. So we're waiting to see perhaps if Ohio will be doing that within the next month as well.
I see. Are you watching the I can't remember what it's called right now, but the state of Ohio map that shows the red levels, purple levels, orange levels, yellow levels? Are you connected to that in any way, Paige?
Yeah, very closely, very closely.
Okay.
As far as, you know, monitoring, now, I'm puzzled why Franklin County turned purple last week, but, because a lot of places are really going down. I mean, if I look daily, and here you see 1 case, 2 cases, you know, 5. I mean, so we've really gone down, especially per 100,000. So I think we're at 77 cases per 100,000, and once we get below 50, I think we'll turn to level 1. So we're getting close, thank goodness.
We're connecting our reopen plan to that. So once we do hit yellow or level 1 or whatever it's called, we'll gradually be reopening as well.
Let's hope it's running its course, and we're about done.
Oh, yes, let's hope. Okay, unfinished business. There is a conversation that I want the board members to have at some point. We can talk offline about this later, about wrapping up some discussions that we had started a while back and that kind of just need finalized. So I'll be reaching out to you all on that to see how we want to move forward on that.
All right, thank you.
Sure. New business, we can excuse absent board members, Mr. Schisler and Ryan, I believe are the 2 who are absent. So do I have a motion to excuse them?
So moved.
Thank you, Charles. And do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Kara. All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right. Any public comment?
None.
No.
Okay. Well, I believe I would accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Charles, second? Anyone? Nobody wants to adjourn?
I think that's
second now.
Ralph will do it. Thank you, Ralph. You've come through in the clutch.
Yeah,
All right,
I have
all in
it.
favor?